Hey second graders, today we are going to be talking about Module 6, Lesson 3 for Math. So for this slide, we are going to be practicing using that place value when adding. So reminder that place value is when we break our numbers down into its tens and its ones, we add those numbers separately and then we add our tens and ones together. So I'm going to show you what I am talking about. So if I have the numbers 56 and 33. I'm going to be adding those two numbers together. So I write this over here because those red boxes are a little harder to see. So 56 plus 33. So I'm going to start with my tens and I'm going to break my numbers down into just their tens. So for 56, I have 5 tens or 50. And for 33, I have 3 tens or 30. So I'm going to be adding 50 plus 30. Now I'm going to break my numbers down into their ones. So for 56, I have 6 ones. And in 33, I have 3 ones. So now what I mean when I say we're going to add those separately is I'm going to add my tens together first. And 50 plus 30 gives me 80. And now I'm going to add my ones together. 6 plus 3 gives me 9. Now that I'm done with that, I'm going to add my tens and my ones together. So I take 80 plus 9, which gives me an answer of 89. So place value is just another way to show how you get the sum of two numbers. Our next slide is using our regrouping strategies. So as always, you start with your ones when subtracting in case you have to regroup. So for my first problem, 45 minus 18, I cannot take 8 away from 5, so I'm going to have to regroup. I regroup by taking 1 away from my tens. That is now 3. And I add this 10 to my ones. So I now have 15 minus 8. 15 minus 8 is 7. And 3 minus 1 is 2, so I have an answer of 27. On my next problem, 68 minus 39, I cannot take 9 away from 8, so I need to regroup. So I take that 1 away from my tens. This now becomes a 5. I add those tens to my ones, and I now have 18 minus 9. 18 minus 9 gives me 9, and 5 minus 3 gives me 2, so I have an answer of 29. 53 minus 27, I cannot take 7 away from 3, so I need to borrow from my 10, so I regroup. I take 1 away from my tens. That becomes a 4. I add that 10 to my 1, so now it is 13. So 13 minus 7 will give me 6, and 4 minus 2 will give me 2. So my answer is 26. In my last problem, 37 minus 29, starting with my ones, I know that I cannot take 9 away from 7, so I'm going to cross off my 10, or my 3 from my tens. That now becomes a 2, and I add that 10 to my ones. So I now have 17 minus 9, which equals 8. And 2 minus 2 is 0, so I'm going to write this just for you to see it, but you know that you don't always have to write the 0, and my answer is 8. Alright, I'm going to be using my tens and my ones mat to solve my addition problems. So I'm going to take my 49 and put it into its tens and its ones. So 49 is 4 10 sticks and 9 ones. 33 now is going to be 3 10 sticks and 3 ones. So now I'm going to add those all together to see what I get. So I'm going to start with my ones, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 ones. So I have a 10 in there, so I can cross off 10. And I can add a 10 stick. And now I'm left with 2 ones. So I have 2 ones and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tens. So my answer is 82. My next problem, 56 plus 37, I'm going to write my 56. So 56 has 5 ones, or 5 10 sticks, and 6 ones. Now 37 has 3 10 sticks and 7 ones. So I'm going to add my ones together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I have 14. So I'm going to cross off 10 of my ones. I'm going to add it to my 10 sticks. And now I'm left with 4 ones and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 10 sticks. So my answer is 94. And my last one, I'm just going to write in the middle here for you. 63 plus 28. I'm going to start by adding my ones. So I have 3 plus 8. So I know that I have 110. So I'm going to write my 1 that I have for my ones. And I'm going to carry that 10 over to the top. So I know that I'm adding one more 10 to my tens. So I have 6 plus 2, which is 8. And now I'm taking that extra 10 I had from my ones to equal 9. So my answer is 91. All right, we are going to be doing similar things with these problems. So my first problem, 74 plus 22. Let's add our ones first. 4 plus 2 is 6. And 7 plus 2 is 9. So my answer is 96. 53 minus 17, I can't take 7 away from 3, so I'm going to regroup. I cross off my 5. That becomes a 4. And I now have 13 because I added that 10 that I'm borrowing to my ones. So I have 13 minus 7, which is 6, and 4 minus 1, which is 3. All right, my next one, 44 plus 37. So I have 4 plus 7 for my ones, and that's 11. So I know that in 11 I have 1 10 and 1 1. So I'm going to keep that 1 below my ones, and I'm now going to add that 10 that I have to my tens. So I have 4 plus 3, which is 7, and now that extra 10 from adding my ones together to equal 8. So my answer is 81. 65 minus 48, I can't take 8 away from 5, so I need to regroup. I cross off my 6, that becomes a 5, and I add that 10 to my 1, so I now have 15. So 15 minus 8 is 7, and 5 minus 4 is 1. 31 plus 26, I start with my ones. 1 plus 6 gives me 7, and 3 plus 2 gives me 5. And my last problem, 89 minus 54. So I can take 4 away from 9. 9 minus 4 is 5. And 8 minus 5 is 3. So my answer is 35. Just a few more practice problems here for us. I'm going to do 4 of them for you. So I'm going to start with 24 plus 8. So I start with my ones, and I have 4 plus 8, which is 12. If I break my 12 down into tens and ones, I have 1 10 and 2 ones. So I'm going to keep my 2 ones underneath my ones, and now I'm going to add that extra 10 to my tens. So I have 2 plus 1, which equals 3, plus that extra 10 from adding my ones together, and I now have 4. So my answer is 42. 71 plus 39, I am doing 9 cannot be taken away from 1, so we have to regroup. So I cross off my 7, that becomes a 6, and I add my tens to my 1. So I have 11 minus 9. 11 minus 9 gives me 2, and 6 minus 3 gives me 3. So my answer is 32. 53 plus 29, I start with my ones. 9 plus 3 is 12. So like I did before, because we see that 12 over here is 1 10 and 2 ones, I keep my ones down here and I add that extra 10 to my tens. So I have 5 plus 2, which is 7, plus that extra 1 from, or that extra 10 from adding my 1, so I have 8. So my answer is 82. And the last one I'm going to be doing for you today, 55 minus 38. I can't take 8 away from 5, so I need to regroup. I cross off my 5. That becomes a 4. I add that 10 to my 1, so I have 15. So 15 minus 8 is 7, and 4 minus 3 is 1. So my answer is 17. That is all I have for you today, second graders. I hope that this helps, and good luck.